Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Today we're doing a reading for sign of Scorpio, and keep in mind that this does not resonate for every Scorpio. If you'd like a personal reading, it's going to be the first link in the description down below. I repeat that, first link in the description down below for a personal reading. You also find much other things there in the description. You can find my Etsy shop, which has my tarot and my oracle cards on there. A bunch of things there on my Etsy shop in the description down below. You should definitely go check that out. Going to go buy something, really appreciate that. Currently have a sale going on. Also find my shirt store, my website, different social media platforms I'm on, as well as Patreon. All that's in the description down below. And if you'd like to donate to the channel, feel free to do so. I do appreciate donations here. So, Scorpio, let's do some prayers first. We have number 25, the goddess Kamala over here. It says, Mother Kamala Devi. Gentle and all-powerful divine queen, supreme feminine being without consort or constraint, goddess of the present moment, sacred mother of the fulfillment of innate divine purpose, you provide wealth to support the soul's awakening after the fires of transformation and sacred exertions of will to conquer the obstacles. You are peace, assurance, comfort, and success. You are the divine harvest. You are the blessed final outcome, the divine fruition. I bow to you, Kamala Ma, and invoke your growing presence, influence, protection, and guidance in my life, and in our world for the spiritual benefit of all beings. This is Jai. And then we have number 13, the goddess Kuan Yin over here. It says, Kuan Yin, beloved yellow tiger mother, I need courage and strength now to be true to myself and allow my own light to take root and grow. Nurture me with your strength of spirit so that I might realize that I have your strength within me too. Is my strength, my courageous heart, help me, beloved, now to realize my courage and have peace in my heart. I feel the roar of your courage and strength within me, and I realize that this is my own courage too. Thank you for helping me realize this, beloved tigress. Alright, Scorpio. So, that's prayers we have. Now let's see what Spirit has in store for yourself. Number 5 with Ben, he was like the phoenix. Number 1 with Amon. Number 8 with Emotep. And we have number 8 with Mofdet. Okay, so 2 8s. 2 8s, that's like manifesting, that could be Lionsgate, that could be like a infinity symbol set. But this here, so we have some sort of rebirth happening. We have the phoenix, right? Which, as you know, is like transformation, death, rebirth. That goes along with your sign right here. But there is healing through this. Alright, maybe even learning healing as well. There is going to be justice for some wrongdoings here. Alright, and I actually don't remember what Amon does, so I'm going to have to look at that real quick. But these are the beings connecting with you at the moment, Scorpio. Bennu, Amon, and Emotep, and Mofdet. So what families do we have? We have Nef. This one. First one. Okay. Number 8. Number 8. It says, he who comes in peace. Emotep is the god of healing and medicine. Oh yeah, and by the way, I am going to be reading out the book because there's deeper messages in the book, and if you don't like that, you can go somewhere else. Anyways, was the god of healing and medicine, the great healer who watched over all who practiced the mingled sciences of medicine and magic. Worshipped primarily at Memphis, Emotep was called the son of Ptah, and expressed the creative nature of his father through his healing powers. According to legend, Emotep actually lived in Egypt, and was advisor and chief architect to the pharaoh Zoser of the 3rd dynasty. He was also a skilled physician, so famous and highly regarded that he became deified some 2,000 years after his death. As a knitter of medicine, Emotep was invoked for the healing of disease and injury. His work involved both the living and the dead, for he also attended the embalming of bodies using spices and drugs, and the magical incantations that ensured the soul's protection. As a great sage and a man of knowledge, Imhotep absorbed some of the attributes of thought, reflected in this image where he is shown seated with the papyrus scroll on his lap. He uttered the words to protect the dead. He was a wise one, the one who comes on to him who calls upon him, wherever he may be. I don't actually know how to say this, but it's like this right here. You can even find it in Greek mythology, staff of Hermes, but it's like a healing staff, right? Anyway, it says, shows his power of directing energy for healing, balance, and harmony. It was Imhotep who called upon the Nile, when the Nile failed to flood and spread its life-giving waters across the delta. It was Imhotep who saved Egypt from starvation after 7 years of terrible drought. In his role of architect, Imhotep was known as the master of works, but it is as healing netter he was most highly revered, later to be identified as the god, this word I can't pronounce, who brought the art of healing to the Greeks. It says, the power of healing, the healer. So you're connected with the healer right now, Scorpio. Okay, connecting with this god, maybe you're healing people, learning more. Of Ammon. That which is hidden. The center of Ammon's worship was the city of Thebes, and dates back to Egypt's ancient empire, where the Theban mysteries were focused in the triad of Naturu, Ammon, Mut, and Khonshu. The oldest references to Ammon connect him directly with the 8 primitives. In one form he has a frog's head, and his female counterpart has the head of a snake, and they take their place in the company of the gods, along with Nu, Kekut, and Het-Hert. As the netter, whose name is hidden, Ammon is a mysterious and inscrutable principle, the personification of the hidden and unknown creative power, which was associated with the primeval abyss gods in the creation of the world and all that is in it. Ammon is a cosmic principle not born from any god. He is shown with the ancient serpent Kemetef coiled around him. Kemetef imbues Ammon with his primordial power, which is then transmitted to his son Khonshu. Ammon is hidden, and only his effects in the material world are visible. As the invisible god, with such tremendous creative power, he is linked with the dwarf star on the mysterious orbit around Sirius, and the black and white ram's horns also refer to the energies emanating from this double star system. The most obvious feature of Ammon is his ithophallic nature. He is always shown with an erect phallus in his human form, and his power manifests as the dew or semen, the lunar fluid in which the emanating fire is contained. Is called the Lord of the Phallus, the god of the lifted hand, both of which refer directly to the human rituals of sex and generation. It says, during the 12th dynasty, when the princess of Thebes took over the rule of Egypt, the cult of Ammon became the most powerful of the gods, and he was combined with the great sun god to become Ammon-Ra. All the old sun gods were absorbed by Ammon-Ra, and all the attributes of Ra were united with his primeval power, Ammon. As a unity, Ammon-Ra was an invisible, creative power, which was the source of all life in heaven, and on the earth, and in the great deep, and in the underworld, and which made itself manifest under the form of Ra. Ammon making God the greatest in Egypt by bringing our attention to the changing cosmic seasons that during the period of Egypt's history. The precession of the equinox of the cult of Hap the bull, which is signified by the age of Taurus, was succeeded by Aries in the generating fire of Ammon-Ra, entering into the constellation of the Ram around 2200 BC, coincided with the springtime in Egypt, which is always ruled astrology by Aries. So the ram-headed god became the perfect vehicle for the cosmic spirit of the time, and as the fish later became the symbol of the now-ending age of Pisces. During these cosmic ages, the dominant constellation influences all the processes of life on Earth, including the symbols, ceremonies of religious expression. It is not that the principles themselves change, it is the celestial background that highlights the specific functions and symbols that changes. Spiritual teaching needs to be modified so that the cosmic season can be given its fullest expression. It was during this age of Aries that the lunar Amon, associated with permanent water, united with the sun god Ra to rule in Egypt, right up to the Christian era. In this card, the lunar element is evoked by the water on which Amon stands. Two obelisks on either side of him receive and transmit celestial influences. In Thebes, the creative principle of life was essentially considered to be the trinity of Amon, Ptah, Ra, and 3 in 1. Amon is a mysterious hidden power. Ra is the head containing all potential for creation. Ptah is the body, the divine fire manifested in nature. Amon was for the Romans the god Jupiter. In this context, that Min, or Amsu, being the inseminated aspect of Amon, can be regarded as Jupiter. It says hidden forces at work, the source of creative power. Alright, so we have some hidden forces here at work. There's like hidden creative forces here, and maybe it has something to do with healing as well. Something that you may do, that you may be working with here. It's not visible to everyone else. So number 5 and number 8. It says to rise, to shine. The wonderful Bennu, with its brilliant red and gold plumage, was a sacred bird of Helios, identified as a heron, with its long straight back and head adorned at the back with 2 erect feathers. The Bennu was later called a phoenix by the Greeks, and fabulous stories were told about it. In Helios, the Bennu bird played a major role in Egypt mythology, dwelling on the Benben stone, or obelisk, within its sanctuary, and revered alongside Ra also, for it was in the city of the sun where the work of creation began. The Bennu bird was said to create itself from the fire that burned on the top of the sacred persil tree in Helios. And that it says a bunch of words I don't know how to pronounce, so I'm not going to say those words. It says, as the soul of Ra, the sun rose in the form of the Bennu to shine out across the world, renewed each morning. But the Bennu bird was also a manifestation of Also. It was said to spring from his heart as a living symbol of the god. In the Book of the Dead, there are formula to transform the deceased into the great Bennu. Here the deceased says, I am the Bennu, the soul of Ra, and the guide of the gods in the duel. In another verse he says, I am pure. My purity is the purity of the great Bennu, which is the city of Sultan Henu. For the Bennu is a quintessence of rebirth. It rises from its ashes as the spiritual body rises from the dead physical form, as a new sun rises from the old. It is the new condition reached when the return of life is accomplished, namely the resurrection of Also. Records the Bennu bird making its appearance only once in 500 years, coming from Arabia, carrying in its beak an egg of myrrh that contained its father's body. This egg is similar to Geb's egg that was laid on the primordial hill and gave birth to the sun, the egg within which the whole alchemical process of transformation is effected. When the Bennu became old, he built a nest of scented incense twigs and the sacred tree, and laid down and died. A small worm appeared from his body that metamorphosed into a bird, and thus the Bennu bird was reborn. The planet Venus was called the star of the ship of the Bennu also. Mentioned as the morning star in this invocation, the sacred sunburn. It says, I am the Bennu, the soul of Ra, and the god of the gods. Let it be done so unto me that I may enter in like a hawk, and that I may come in forth like Bennu, the morning star. It says, renewal of life and energy, rebirth, shedding the old, the heavy, outworn, feeling free as a bird. So that's what it feels like. This is the hidden things that no one else sees. Maybe you see it, right? But there is healing here. There's rebirth. There is renewal here, Scorpio. And I feel like there's punishment for wrongdoing with this card being here. With this goddess being here. That means somebody did something messed up. Alright? They're about to receive some punishment. Whoever they may be, even if it was things done a while ago, if it was recent, does not matter. Why does it feel like something's on my finger? I felt like something was touching my finger. It's not in here. Dude, I totally passed what I'm looking for. Moftet. She who sees clearly. As Matt represents cosmic law and the sacred order of the universe, so Moftet personifies law on earth, the judicial authorities who try and judge the defendant, and who exact punishment when the individual is found guilty of a crime. She, too, is found in the scenes of the Judgment Hall. The animal associated with Moftet is the lynx, an animal of the cat family recognized by its tufted ears. The meaning of Moftet's name derives from the cat's well-known ability to see in the dark. In this card, a lynx is shown running up the execution pole behind the figure of the goddess. This pole, which is curved at the top with the projecting blade, which struck fear into the hearts of evildoers, was also called Moftet. The background is a vivid blood red color. Although merciless to the wicked, the lynx Moftet was a friend of the dead in Amanta, warding off the attacks of serpents who would try to destroy them. In the Book of the Dead, she helped Serket and Ma to overthrow a Pepin threat. The double-hafted spear of Horus in his battle against the Pep is likened to her sharp claws. Here she is shown raising a sword to execute 2 prisoners who, like a Pep, had been bound with feathers by the goddess Serket. It says justice, punishment, paying for some wrong done, and imposed discipline of an earthly or spiritual nature. Alright, Scorpio. So that's messages for you. That's the beings connected with you here. So let's get some runes and trust yourself. We have a Chinese zodiac sign of the monkey over here. We have the sunbeam, which you're connecting with the sun, Scorpio. That's life, that's vitality here. Especially with the phoenix, it all makes sense there. Okay, you're rising like the sun in the morning. We have the sun god Ra. We have the rose. Rose is important for the heart chakra. Rose can also be similar like Aphrodite over there. We have these 2 dragon lovers, one being fire and one being water or ice, depending on your perspective here. We have this dragon moon, which can be similar to Kuan Yin over here. Journey. We have justice. Yeah, heavy justice here. So, that's all I have for you. And like I said, first link in the description down below for personal reading. Also, go on my Etsy shop, go on there, go buy something. Really appreciate that. And if you want to see more content, definitely subscribe. Bye, guys.